So I like to do puzzles. Something about the challenge of taking hundreds or thousands of little pieces and putting them together to form a cohesive picture is very appealing to me. And I like to feel like I'm making progress on a puzzle, kind of challenging myself to put it together as fast as possible. Now imagine you're doing a puzzle, and instead of painstakingly putting pieces where they belong and neatly attaching them together to form the picture on the box, you decided to make a different picture with the pieces, or you forced the pieces to fit together where they didn't actually go. Well, you'd end up with a chaotic mess of a picture and likely some damaged or broken pieces. You might be familiar with the story of Sarah and Abraham. Sarah was barren, and she and Abraham were getting older. They were desperate for a child, but it seemed like that was never going to happen. So in Genesis 16, we read about Sarah proposing a solution to Abraham, that he could take her servant Hagar as a wife, and they could have children through her. So Abraham agrees, and Hagar becomes pregnant. But almost immediately, Hagar starts to treat Sarah with contempt, and Sarah becomes jealous and bitter. So she goes to Abraham, blaming him for the situation. Abraham tells Sarah to do what she wants with Hagar, and Sarah then treats her so harshly that Hagar runs away. So Sarah and Abraham were desperate for a child, but instead of trusting in God's timing and in his promises, they took matters into their own hands. Sarah tried to force a solution by giving Hagar to Abraham, hoping it would complete their picture. But just like trying to force puzzle pieces together, it only led to a distorted and painful outcome. Sarah gave her servant Hagar to Abraham, thinking it would solve their problem, but instead it led to jealousy, bitterness, and ultimately pain for everyone involved. How often do we do the same thing? We try to force situations, relationships, or outcomes to fit our desires, even when we know deep down, we know they're not right. But just like the puzzle pieces, when they don't fit, it only leads to frustration, hurt, and brokenness. When we try to take control of situations, manipulate circumstances, and then when things go wrong, we blame others or even blame God. But the truth is, our lack of trust in God's plan only leads to chaos and hurt. Today, as we reflect on this story, may we seek forgiveness for the times we've tried to force pieces to fit in our lives, and for the ways that we have hurt ourselves and others. May we learn to trust in God's timing and his plan, even when it doesn't make sense to us. And may we remember that our actions have consequences, not just for ourselves, but for those around us as well.